So these masks help slow the spread of COVID-19, and I wear one when I go out here in New York City. However, what happens sometimes though, especially along the cheeks here, maybe along the jawline, maybe around the mouth area, you're noticing some breakouts. Maskne, aka mask acne. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about what causes maskne, how to prevent it, how to treat it, and can you wear makeup underneath one of these masks? Keep watching and find out. Welcome back to the Style and Beauty Doctor here on YouTube. If this is your first time tuning in, my name is Danielle. Welcome to my channel. Consider subscribing. This is a channel where I try to make skincare and fashion as fun and easy as possible. I upload skincare videos on Sundays and Wednesdays, and on Fridays we do fashion, so consider subscribing. But we are going to get into the topic at hand, which is maskne. And a lot of us, we're breaking out on our cheeks, and you know, it's just upsetting us and our homegirls. So let's talk about it. The reason why you're getting it, right? You got these masks on all day. The masks are rubbing up against your skin. The straps are rubbing up against your skin. And that friction where things are like constantly rubbing on your face. And if you're wearing these masks, you're an essential worker and you're wearing these masks day in and day out, that kind of friction can really irritate the skin, and it causes a condition called acne mechanica. You know, I'll leave a link where you can kind of get some more information on acne mechanica. So it's not just the friction, although the friction does play a big part, but also if you haven't noticed when you put these masks on, I notice because, especially in the summertime, it gets hot underneath these masks. So the heat underneath the mask, the friction of the mask rubbing up against your face, it just causes the perfect storm for you to break out. You know, you're sweating more, your skin might be producing more oil, and then that heat and all that like oil and sweat, you know, these are things where acne causing bacteria can just be like, hey, it's a party, all up underneath your mask. Now let's talk about how to treat it, how to prevent it, and later down the line in this video, we'll talk about wearing makeup and wearing one of these masks. Okay, so one of the first things that you want to do is decide if you're going to be wearing one of the reusable masks or one of the disposable masks. If you're wearing one of these reusable masks, you have to wash it after every use. I'm gonna say that again because, you know, some people might be treating these like they're jackets. No, this is going on your face, going on your skin. You have to wash these after every use. Now, if you have particularly sensitive skin, you want to probably be very careful about what you wash it with. You might want to, you know, wash it with a very gentle detergent, a very gentle soap, but these have to be cleansed every time you use it. If you're using a disposable mask, these are one-time use. You use it and you toss it. Now, I would also like for you to go to the CDC website and make sure that you read through those guidelines, because look, doctor is just a name that I use here on the internet. I don't actually have the actual credentials. And, you know, I'm a style and beauty doctor because there are certain situations where, like if this gets wet, if you've had it on for a certain amount of time, where it's not as effective as it was when you first put it on, so you will need to toss it and replace it. So make sure you check that out, because that is important for you to know. So now if you're an essential worker, you know, you're wearing one of these masks, you might be wearing an N95 mask, you might be wearing one of these medical masks, or you might have, you know, some really elaborate personal protective equipment. If you're wearing masks day in, day out, you're wearing them 3 hours or more per day, according to the acne expert Marie-Claire Cates, who has been on this channel, so make sure you check out our videos. We did one on acne and diet and one on acne treatments that work, where we kind of go into how much it costs, what the treatments are if you have severe acne and you want to get it treated by a professional, to make sure you check that out. But according to Marie-Claire Cates, who's a medical esthetician, if you are an essential worker and you're wearing these masks 3 or 4 or more hours per day, day in, day out, here's what you want to do. you want to do your regular skincare routine. You're going to cleanse the skin, you're going to put any kind of serum or treatment products that you normally use on your skin, although you may want to look for some that are a little bit more on the calming side. And then we'll talk about some salicylic acid treatments later on in the video as well. You want to put your moisturizer on, you want to put your sunscreen on if you're working during the day. And the last thing that you want to do is put a thin layer of either Aquaphor or regular Vaseline. Now, you know, Vaseline has many varieties. We're not talking about the cocoa butter one, the ones that smell a little sweet and nice, and all plain regular Vaseline petroleum jelly, the original flavor is what you're gonna use. And you're gonna apply a thin layer of that on your skin. Now, Marie Claire, who is the acne expert, says that this won't break your skin out. But what this does is it adds a protective layer. If you think of it kind of like if you are someone and your thighs touch and you know what happens when your thighs are constantly rubbing up against each other, and that friction that it causes, and then you might get some bumps and some rashes and whatnot there, you know, in between the legs, but that's for another video. You think of it like that. So you're putting that protective layer, because that protective layer of the Aquaphor or the plain petroleum jelly, plain, no added scents or anything like that, plain, that is going to help protect the skin from that excess friction when the mask moves around. So that is what you are going to do if you are wearing these masks day in, day out, 3 or 4 hours or more a day. If you're just going for a walk, or you're going out to dine out al fresco, which has been a really nice thing to have here in New York, put the Aquaphor down. If you're not wearing your mask for 3 or more hours straight, not like, oh, you know, I'm going outside today and, you know, cumulatively it'll be 3 hours. I'm talking like if you have to wear that mask all day, that's what you do. Now, when it comes to wearing makeup for this particular category, if you're someone who, you know, you're an essential worker, I would say skip the makeup, the face makeup at least. If you want to get a little fancy, you know, do your eyes up. You know, I'm not going to judge you. You know, I'm a makeup girl myself. But, you know, the makeup underneath the mask for someone who's wearing the mask for that long, 1, no one's going to see it, and 2, that's a lot of time to have like all that oil and sweat and all that buildup underneath the mask combined with your makeup. It's a lot. So I would just forego the face makeup for now. Now, for everyone, and that's including healthcare workers, essential workers, and lay people quite like myself, if you are experiencing the acne coming from the mask, you may want to switch things up in your skincare routine. And one thing that you may want to strongly consider adding into your routine is something with salicylic acid. So salicylic acid, aka BHA, is a chemical exfoliant, and it works by going into the pore and helping to clear out some of that acne causing gunk, right? So there are a couple of ways that you can use salicylic acid in your routine, and I will give you some examples of products that I myself have tried. But, you know, of course, do your research and see which ones would be, you know, right for you and right for your budget. But you can use a salicylic acid cleanser. One of my favorites is the Murad Time Release Cleanser. It has 0.5% salicylic acid. I like it because, you know, that lower dosage salicylic acid is something that I could use, you know, if I'm trying to either treat some acne or prevent it, where it's not going to be drying out my skin. A drugstore option would be the tried and true classic, the Neutrogena oil-free acne cleanser. That also has 0.5% salicylic acid in it as well. If you want more information on properly cleansing your skin, because it's not just splashing some water and going like this and thinking you're done, you know, there's a process. Make sure you check out my Are You Properly Cleansing Your Skin video, which I will link above and below. So make sure you check that out for more tips on cleansing. So another salicylic acid treatment that I like is from Murad as well. It's the Outsmart Acne Clarifying Treatment. This is a 1% salicylic acid. I like this because it's gentle. It doesn't feel drying on my skin. It's a gel formula, so you're gonna wanna put this on before you put your moisturizer on. That one is really good. But then when there are times when I have some, acne that's not, it's just indignant. It's not responding to, just being wrong, right? Just not responding to my regular acne treatment. That's when I tend to bring out the big girls, and typically that's something with sulfur in it or even benzoyl peroxide. So for benzoyl peroxide treatment that I like, the Neutrogena Rapid Clear Stubborn Acne. I don't use it very often because benzoyl peroxide can be very drying, at least for me especially, and it's pretty drying for most people. This has 10% benzoyl peroxide in it, so just be mindful of that. I like to use that just when I have a really stubborn pimple, but typically I like to use something with sulfur in it. And I have some product examples that I've tried and that I love. So Kiehl's has this Breakout Control Targeted Acne Spot Treatment. It's a sulfur acne treatment. It has 10% sulfur and vitamin B3 aka niacinamide. Over the years I've used the Peter Thomas Roth Therapeutic Sulfur Mask for acne. This has 10% sulfur in it as well. Very rarely do I use this as an all-over mask. Sometimes I may use it as an all-over mask, but most of the time when I'm using this, I'm just using it as a spot treatment. So I'll take a little bit out, put it on the breakout, and overnight usually it kind of helps to kind of shake it up and take down the Goliath. It's the David to the Goliath. But recently, acne expert Marie Claire Cates, check out our videos together. She sent me her calming acne mask, which also has sulfur in it, but it's calming, and a lot of the friction and the irritation comes from inflammation, and sometimes you just want to calm things down a bit. I might be replacing the Peter Thomas Roth mask with this because this texture just feels so much nicer. It doesn't feel as drying as the Peter Thomas Roth. So this you can use as an all-over mask a couple of times a week, but you can also use it as spot treatment to kind of bring down a big pimple, overnight. Now, sometimes you may take you 2 nights in a row to kind of get the pimple to subside. But I do like to use sulfur as kind of like a last-ditched effort to get rid of acne. Now, if you're dealing with more, reoccurring acne, acne that you've been trying to, do your best to treat and it's just like nothing's happening, make sure you check out my video on acne treatments that work, which I also did with the acne expert. That video goes into detail on, the type of treatments that you can expect and the type of cost that you can expect if you're going to go to a professional to treat your acne. And Acne Expert also has a line, I'll link it in the description box as well, where if you want to kind of check things out, take her quiz and use some products at home, you can do that as well if you're someone with more persistent and stubborn acne. All right, so can you wear makeup underneath these masks? Now, we'll get into that right now. So it's not impossible to wear makeup underneath your mask, but you're gonna have to put in some work. You're gonna be touching up probably pretty often, especially if you're taking the mask on and off. If you're keeping the mask on for prolonged periods of time though, I would, throw in, the suggestion that maybe don't wear the face makeup, maybe just do your eyes because, no one's seeing it. But if you're someone where, you're going out to work or you just, I'm no one to tell someone not to wear makeup because heck, I had started my whole second career on wearing makeup. Because, makeup's fun. But if you want to wear it and you're wearing the mask, here are a couple of things that you can do. So now your first option, like I mentioned before, just do your eyes and then put your mask on because nobody's gonna see down there anyway, right? And then when you get to your destination, you can, go ahead and put your face makeup on. So that's one option. Now, if you're going to do a full face, if you look, I want to wear a full face of makeup, that is my prerogative. Now, there have been times where I've had a full face of makeup on underneath the mask because, I'm going to shoot content or, I'm filming something and, it doesn't make sense for me to, do my makeup when I get to the destination because of timing. So here's what I do. Now, you're gonna want to layer your makeup. Layering your makeup is the key to getting it to stay put. Now, I know Makeup YouTube loves them a makeup setting spray, but Makeup setting sprays, you know, if you want to use a makeup setting spray, I'm not going to stop you, but the real key to getting that makeup to last is to layer. Layering your makeup sounds like a lot, and it kind of sounds like, why am I putting on more makeup to get it to last? But it's kind of like you're giving it a foundation, you know, no pun intended, for the next product to hold on longer. So here are a couple of examples. So for your foundation, if you're having issues with your foundation staying put, not everyone's gonna need a foundation primer, but if you in particular notice that, like, why does my foundation keep disappearing? You know, make sure you're wearing the right moisturizer. I have a video on that. Make sure you check that out. I'll link it above and below. But a foundation primer may be able to help you in that instance, because what happens is the foundation primer is, you know, kind of like a base, and then the foundation goes on top, and it's giving the foundation something to hold on to, and then you're gonna set that with some powder, which is going to give it another layer. So now you've got, you know, your 3 layers, and it's gonna take longer for, you know, each one to break down. And then throughout the day, you're gonna wanna probably, you know, powder your face, or, you know, do something to blot the shine in your shiny areas throughout the day. Another way that you can layer, especially if you're wearing eye makeup and your eye makeup is not staying put, you want to wear an eyeshadow primer or an eyeshadow base. So some people can get away with wearing concealers. I have not met a concealer that likes to play nicely with my eyeshadows, but there are some of them out there. I use something, you know, old school Urban Decay Primer Potion, or I'll use the Lorac Eyeshadow Insurance. There are a lot of eyeshadow primers and bases out there, and what basically they're doing, again, like the same example I gave you before, it's giving the eyeshadow something to hold on to. So instead of it being like, oh, it's like, ha-ha, we're stronger together. So like, think of it like that, right? Another way that you can layer, if you're someone who likes highlighters, maybe you put your cream highlighter on first, and then you set that with a similar colored powder highlighter, because again, that's gonna give it, you know, that we're stronger together action there. For blush, you can do the same thing. You can wear a cream blush, and then you can set that with a powder blush in a similar shade on top to give it that increased staying power. So those are a couple of ways that you can layer your makeup so that it stays put. You can do the same thing with your lip, but I have to say, with a lip, that's something I think you should definitely wait till you can get to your destination to put on, because even if you're wearing, you know, a liquid lipstick, or, you know, you're layering your lip, like one way that you can layer your lip, you can do, you know, make sure your lips are moisturized first. You may want to put like a wrinkle filler if like you got like a lot of lines on your lips to kind of, you know, seal those in. Then you can put a lip pencil on in a similar color as your lip color, then put your lipstick, and then put a gloss on top. That's going to give you some really locked in action where your lip color is going to last longer. But don't forget, you're putting a mask over it, and between the friction and the heat and the oils that are coming through and all of the mess that's going on underneath the mask, that is going to shift and it's going to get messy. So I would definitely wait till you get to your destination to put your, you know, your lip on. Now, in a regular non-pandemic world, you know, those layering tips that I just told you about would be enough to kind of minimize some of the touching up that you would have to do throughout the day. But we are not in regular non-pandemic times. We are in a whole pandemic. So the masks are causing lots of friction. There's lots of heat going on underneath there. Your makeup is, you know, being put through conditions that it was not formulated to go through. So just keep in mind that you're probably gonna have to touch up more. Keep a little makeup bag with you, so with your essentials to touch up. You know, I like the, I don't know that they still make it, but I still happen to kind of find it. A Beauty Blender makes something called a Blotterazzi. It looks very similar to the material that their beauty blenders are made out of, and that does an amazing job of soaking up sweat and blotting the makeup without giving you that casket sharp look, because you know, that powdery, really dry look is, not everybody can pull it. A lot of people cannot pull that off. So I like the Blotterazzi for that. If I can find some, I'll link it in the description box so you can check it out. But those are my MASKNE tips and my tips for wearing makeup with a mask. Now it is your turn to do the talking. Let me know in the comments. Have you tried any of my tips? Will you be trying any of these tips? Are there other things that you're doing? Are you wearing makeup with a mask? What are you doing? get all chitty chatty in the comments. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, follow me on social, the links will be in the description box, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.